Hey, good to see you. My name's Brian, and I got a question for you. When you go out at night, let's say to the bar or the club, do you feel like a lot of the women that you want to talk to and sleep with are passing you by? Have you ever seen women gravitating towards other men, but you can't put your finger on what's turning these women on because these guys all have very different personalities and styles? Do you feel like in your love life and your sex life, you're dating women below your level, just not women that really turn you on or that really get you excited? And when you see a beautiful woman, you don't just feel excited about meeting her, you actually feel scared and nervous. Every time you meet a woman that you're actually interested in, you end up somehow blowing it. You're texting, calling, trying to get her to meet up, and it ends up going nowhere. And maybe you do go out on a date, but you're just making boring small talk for a couple hours, and then it ends with a peck on the cheek. You never end up getting her alone, back on your couch or in your bed. So you're going through a lot of boring conversation, texting, dead-end dates, and instead you really just want to take her home. To me, that's a problem, and I fix that problem. This is what I do. So if you think your sex life is bad, I guarantee you it's not half as bad as mine was before I decided to make some very serious changes and suffer a lot of pain and embarrassment in that process. So picture two guys in a divey college bar. There's perky blondes, curvy brunettes, women just dancing, bouncing, beautiful women everywhere. One guy's kind of tall and lanky, the other guy's a little shorter and stockier, and it's the shorter guy that's really not enjoying himself. Every moment, he's getting more and more frustrated. And he's staring at this one particular girl. She's wearing cowboy boots, really short shorts, she has tan, smooth legs, and she's dancing and she's just oblivious to all this. And he's definitely attracted to her, but it's not lust that he's feeling. It's frustration. And that frustration is turning more and more into determination. This guy was feeling that pain and frustration because he knows he has no clue how to approach her, no clue how to connect with her, let alone take her home. And it's been like this for a while, whether it's going out to parties or going to the bar. Every night he goes out, he's watching other guys get the girls. For some reason, he just can't do it. He's too nervous. He can't think of anything to say. And he's sort of at the end of his rope. And on this particular night, it's like the straw that breaks the camel's back, and he decides right then and there that he's done. Night after night, he's seen beautiful, knockout, gorgeous women, you know, in their mini skirts and heels, and they're looking beautiful, they're dancing, they're having a great time, and other guys are checking them out as well, but those other guys are talking to the women. And after a minute or two, he sees these two people making a connection. So once again, he's watching this, pissed off, jealous, envious, and a lot of times he watches the girl that he wanted leave with another guy. So this guy turns to his buddy and he says, "This sucks. I've had enough and I'm going to figure this out." Fast forward about 6 months later, after that particular night, when he decided that he was done and he was going to figure it out, this guy's making breakfast in his kitchen, and in his bed is a beautiful, petite, smooth-skinned little Asian woman with long black hair that he took home the night before. And he's thinking about the woman in his bed while he's making his eggs. So it's early morning, and his mind starts wandering, and he starts thinking, it was so easy to meet her and connect with her and bring her home. It was like a normal ending to my night. Then it strikes him like a lightning bolt, like one of those big realizations, one of those click moments, where he realizes that's how it should be. So if you haven't figured it out yet, the guy I'm talking about is me. So once I got my own sex life handled, I spent the next 6 years of my life teaching other guys how to do it as a professional dating coach for men. Now, the process of becoming a professional dating coach for men is a whole nother story in itself. My point is, I got so good that I was able to do that. I'm not trying to brag here. I'm not trying to make myself sound cool. What I want to point out is that a simple shift in your thinking can completely change your life. If you can improve in the gym, on the golf course, even improve your writing skills, think about what else is possible. Think about it. You can take conscious control over your progress with any skill and not rely on fate or chance or getting lucky. You can actually take control of the different aspects of your life with the right structure and guidance. So why would you leave your sex life up to chance? So why would you leave your sex life up to chance? And this realization changed my life because I'm a different man now, and so are the guys that I coach. Most of my guys, and I call my students my guys, they range from their mid-20s to mid to late 40s. Some are a bit older. Some guys are still college age or fresh out of college. And a lot of them are already pretty good with women. They just want to get to that higher level. So what about you? For a lot of my students, that means taking the woman home that night, No stale small talk, no nothing numbers that end up nowhere. It means no dead-end dates. And she feels so comfortable with you after a simple conversation that going back to your place is the natural next step. And it means not just hooking up, but being sexually worshipped every time you get a girl alone. It also means calling the shots when it comes to where the relationship is going. And if you don't want her to get all snippy because you're not exclusive and you don't want to be pressured into committing to a relationship that you don't actually want, I'm the guy to talk to because I do this in my personal life and I've literally taught hundreds of guys how to do it themselves consistently. But let's say you meet your perfect girl and you want to keep her around and have a healthy, loving relationship where she's devoted and loyal and loves to please you. I'm also the guy to talk to because I've done that myself and I know how to make that happen. So why do some guys get all the girls? See, it's not the smart guys. It's not the good guys. It's not the guys who really deserve the best women. It's the ones who seem to get women effortlessly, almost by accident. And I'm sure you've seen a few in your lifetime as well. I had the chance to meet one of these naturals. And actually, I've met several of these guys that were just amazing with women naturally. These guys basically have nothing in common other than the fact that women just seem to naturally gravitate towards them and become very sexual around these guys. The confusing thing was this. Even though I could see with my own eyes that each one of these guys was prolific with women, none of them could tell me how they did it. To them, the subject seemed boring. You know, when I'd ask them what makes women tick, they'd give me really short, kind of blow-off answers as if they didn't care. Not like they were trying to keep secrets from me. I mean, some of those guys were good friends, and they still are. But the topic of women and how to be good with women just wasn't that interesting to them because they were already doing well with women. You know, they'd say things like, you just got to be confident, or girls are begging for it. You just got to be yourself and go for it, man. I mean, how many times have you heard that? It just doesn't work like that. And I know from personal experience and professional experience. I mean, if I said that to a student of mine, he deserves a double refund. Some even said, some guys just have it and other guys don't, and that's all there is to it. But I refuse to accept that. Otherwise, the rest of my life would be very lonely and boring and sexually frustrating. But my determination eventually played to my favor because I started to identify a few common denominators. These were like X factors that weren't directly observable. They were common denominators between different men with different personalities, different styles, but they all got the same fast sexual results with the women that I wanted. I want you to remember that, the concept of the common denominator. And you'll see why it's important in a minute. So what's the secret of these naturals, and why do smart guys tend to fall short when it comes to getting the women they really want and deserve? I guarantee it's not about your intelligence because that's always an advantage. Once I discovered a few things, I realized that my intelligence is actually a huge advantage I have over naturals. So now I do better than the guys I looked up to growing up. And I'll admit it's taken a lot of failure and embarrassment, taking risks, trying a lot of different crazy things, but it was worth it because I'm here for a reason. And that reason is not just to enjoy myself, but to help guys like you. So here's where it all comes together. A short time after I started making a real conscious effort to get better with women, I met a guy named Man-Whore. He goes by that name because he doesn't want his real name thrown around in public, and it's a funny nickname, but there's a reason for it. See, the thing about him is he's sort of a weird hybrid, and what I mean is this. He's really good with women, and he's super sharp, but when I first met him, I just saw him as another one of these natural types. And he openly admitted growing up that way, not really knowing why women were drawn to him. He's average looking, he's got a smaller frame, he's a little shorter and thinner than I am, and he's bald. So he doesn't have looks or his physique working to his advantage. So even though getting girls came naturally to him for most of his life, it was in his later years that he became fascinated with learning how to get even better results faster. He didn't want to settle for the women that came to him, and I gotta admit, I was a little jealous seeing what he could do, but he just couldn't get enough, and that's why his nickname is Man-Whore. And we always had something to talk about. We could shoot the shit, and he'd always give me great insights when I'd run ideas by him. This was the beginning of the discovery of the hidden roadblocks that derail guys on the fast track to sex. It was these early conversations that planted the seed for what became Take Her Home Tonight. Fast forward several years later, me and Man-Whore are both dating coaches in our own rights. So as teachers, we always ended up on the topic of our students and their breakthroughs. And we noticed themes kept popping up. And these were challenges that we ourselves had overcome, but every now and then we'd catch ourselves on them too. Every barrier that our students were facing would fall into one of these key areas, and we informally dubbed these the hidden roadblocks. We started throwing around the idea of recording our conversations because they were getting more and more focused on these hidden roadblocks. In these conversations, we wanted to show real-world examples of how we overcame these roadblocks. I'm not going to lie, it's definitely an ego boost to see a guy go from lonely bachelor to stone cold pimp after he trains with me. But we also saw how time-consuming it was to have to explain the same thing again to each new student. We saw how powerful it was for our paying students and our inner circle guys to listen to these recordings and then apply the principles in their own lives. And then when they had specific issues, to come talk to us, and then we could address those issues on a one-on-one basis. So here's what we did. Manhor and I started going out almost every day of the week. We go to bars, clubs, local daytime hangouts, meeting beautiful women basically every day. At the end of the week, we would do a recording about all the women we had met that week. In effect, it became almost like an NFL post-game commentary show where we were breaking down in detail all the steps, from first meeting a woman to taking her home and everything else, which really illustrated all the principles of how to get fast results with women. So we gave these recordings to our private coaching students and a few inner circle guys on private forums, and the response was amazing. We were getting pressured by our paying students to release these recordings to the public so that everyone could benefit. And that's what Take Her Home Tonight is, the recordings of these conversations between Manhor and me. It's the breakdowns, play-by-play analysis, deep insights into the principles of what's going on at every step. Now, we've already gotten a ton of success stories, which you can read below, but we decided, why stop there? Our guys love it so much, we're just going to keep it going. Not only are you going to be learning from Manhor and me, but you're also going to be learning from some of the sharpest guys we know who get crazy results with women. Some who have recorded with us are quote-unquote naturals that we know from our personal lives, and they're the rare few that can actually articulate what they do and why. And other guys like me, who started off with a dismal sex life and had to consciously learn how to be good with women. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, I want to let you in on something because I feel obligated to. Over the years, I've met many self-proclaimed experts who claimed to have gone from zero to hero and who claim to be able to teach men how to be good with women. But just like any field, there's a lot of fakers out there. And I feel it's my responsibility to steer you in the right direction. Trust me, I've met a lot of the big names out there and I've seen these guys in action. And a lot of these guys are not really that impressive with women, let alone have the ability to teach other guys how to do it. But there are some who are the real deal. And it's these select few that made the cut for Take Her Home Tonight based on specialties that each excel at. And this is where we get back to the idea that I said to remember. The common denominators. And seeing and understanding these common denominators, these invisible X factors between all the different guys that I watched and learned from, is what helped me get to the level I'm at today, where I basically have my ideal sex life, and the same goes for my students. You can read a lot of the guys' stories below. So here's what you'll learn. Why women put the brakes on sex, even if they want it. And sometimes it's because they want it. See, when you understand this, you can bypass her attempts to slow things down, and she'll love it. How to advance when a girl is shy, quiet, cold, or gives you no signals to work with. This is something that trips a lot of guys up, even guys who are already good with women. Why you should never focus on witty banter or trying to be funny or make girls laugh. This is where I shine and a lot of guys trip up. I break down my method for getting fast numbers that actually convert. It's one thing to get a number, but it's something else to get a number that actually goes somewhere. And I can do this in under 20 seconds. And I'll explain how. We give you a comprehensive rundown on how to follow up on the phone to get the meetup. We also cover how to deal with other men trying to get your girl, and also how to take girls from other men. We tell you why the friend zone is a myth, it's total bullshit, and why you should treat women like your friends. And this will actually get you laid quicker, but also you'll be able to stay outside of the boyfriend zone, which is really where you do not want to be, but you want to be the guy that women come to for sex. And maybe they know that you're sleeping with other women, but they don't care because you can make them feel better than any man they know. You're going to get inside the minds of what could be considered perfect tens, women who are so beautiful that they seem unattainable. See, most guys put these women on a pedestal, and that's a problem because these women don't want to be on the pedestal. But there's something that makes tens different than other women, and when you understand how they tick and how they think, and what makes their thought process different, you'll be able to adapt. And in my life, I've found that the most beautiful women are actually the easiest to sleep with if you know what you're doing. And I'm going to share all that information with you and take her home tonight. We teach you how to speak directly to the inner woman, the natural woman, the primal woman. Most guys only tap this part of a woman during sex, but you're going to nail it deep right when you first start talking to her. How nice guys can win and get the women they truly deserve. What to specifically pay attention to in every conversation. Remember that mastery is all about knowing exactly where to channel your energy and what to pay attention to, and usually this requires years and years of experience. But it's my job to save your time. We break down how to make good girls go bad with something I call sexual pacing. Odds are the girl that you want is probably not ready to have sex right this second, but we break down how to change that. Why you should not make out in the club and how to ramp up sexual tension so that she wants sex more than you do. We even cover last-ditch attempts. These are case studies where we've turned something out of nothing to get the girl alone when all seems lost. Simple questions and statements you can use to get the conversation sexual and have that sexual spark with a woman that oftentimes is lacking, especially if you really want the girl. How to get sexual is very important in a conversation because you want to be the guy that she goes to for sex. You want her thinking about sex with you. So you got to add that sexual spark, and I break down how. We also cover advanced wingman tactics. This is something a lot of guys neglect, but if you go out with your guy friends, you need to all be on the same page and know how to run it so that you and your buddy get laid. We teach you to leverage a deep level of awareness of female psychology so that you and your wingman can speed both of your respective girls up and get them both turned on. We teach you how to adapt to different personalities and levels of horniness. Every woman has a different speed and comfort level, and this is compounded by the chemistry you have with each different woman. I'm going to teach you my patented comfort and arousal cycle. This is my guaranteed, foolproof, 100% effective way to make a woman feel comfortable with you and extremely horny. This has been my secret formula for when I get alone, and it works especially well on shy girls. In fact, I did this with a girl 2 nights ago, and it was our first time hanging out, and we ended up having sex. Well, our inner circle students, who we originally gave these recordings to, were paying $120 an hour for phone coaching. But we're not going to charge you that. I want as many guys to hear this stuff as possible while still keeping a fair price. But I'm going to make it easy on you. I'm not even going to charge you $120 a month. To get your life started in a new direction with Take Her Home Tonight, it would normally cost you $50. But for the next 36 hours only, we are offering you more than half off. And we've marked it down to just 24 bucks. So here's how it works, and here's what you get when you click the button below. You'll immediately get 3 hand-picked recordings where we cover foolproof game plans for first date sex. See, most dates actually prevent sex. We're going to show you how to plan dates that result in sex. Tactics to overcome obstacles in difficult situations. See, one of the biggest problems guys face when they want to take a woman home is logistics. And you really have to have a master on logistics, basically getting her from point A to point B in short order and dealing with any unexpected situations and obstacles that arise. You would be shocked to know how common it is for women to want to have sex with a guy that same night, but they don't because of these hang-ups. We cover the infamous insert program now, how women really give you sexual cues and how to capitalize. Uncover the one hidden signal women give you all the time, which is your cue to ramp things up immediately, or she'll quickly close the window of opportunity on you if you don't. It's like she pauses her mental program and says, "Please insert your desired program here, sir." In other words, she is totally open to you and waiting to see your next move. And she's hoping you come through with more physical touch and sexuality. She's hoping you pull the trigger and make a move. You're going to smack yourself in the head when you remember back to all the times girls have given you this subtle green light. Learning this is like upgrading your perceptual abilities from MS-DOS to Windows 7 or OS X, whatever your flavor is. We've been told by several guys already that this tip alone was worth the entire THHT program to them. You'll get all the above immediately, and then after that, you're going to stay sharp and continue learning because twice a month, every other week,
we're going to send you a new lesson with more killer tactics and skills. And of course, we always include case studies by Man-Whore, yours truly, and special guests. You see, the key to success in any part of life is to never stop learning. And one of the secrets to accelerated learning and retention of what you've learned is incremental learning. Just like you wouldn't want to drink fine wine from a fire hydrant, you wouldn't want to be overwhelmed with a humongous blast of skills and tactics to remember and internalize. Now, with the special discount we are running, not only is it just $24 for the first month, but we're actually going to drop the price for you down to $14 a month on the second month and onward. And it comes with a 60-day no-hassle guarantee. If you're not absolutely blown away, you can stop at any time, no questions asked. You'll be getting an immediate nitro boost with the recordings we send you right away. And just like many of our new members, you're quickly going to find yourself in new situations with sexy women like you never have before. Then you'll stay sharp with new bi-weekly lessons to keep you at a manageable pace and keep your momentum going. You can read more below about what to look forward to. Our students send us success stories all the time about new wild sexual they were able to pull off within a week of joining Take Her Home Tonight. At the same time, many have told us that the continued lessons came at the perfect time to help them advance with one particular hottie that they had their eyes on. By taking the opportunity to join at this special price of $24 now and $14 a month after that, you'll be investing far less than a couple beers and a tip for your bartender on a Friday night. And what is your time worth? Well, each man values the moments of his life differently, so that's really up to you. But personally, before I got this area of my life handled, I walked around with this nagging feeling that I was missing out. And I always wondered what other guys had that I didn't. It was such a relief to discover that it is possible to improve my results with women, and that there are men out there who've been there and can show me the way.
Click on the button below that says Get Instant Access because you want to sleep with more beautiful women. And Take Her Home Tonight is a proven, easy system guaranteed to do exactly that.
Remember, this investment into yourself with Take Her Home Tonight is fully guaranteed for 60 days and you can stop at any time. And because you've landed on this special page, you're going to get a 50% discount off the normal price. And this special price is only available to you for the next 36 hours, after which the price will be nearly double what you'll pay by getting started with Take Her Home Tonight today. Now let me tell you about the bonuses you're going to get right away. You're going to hear from my former student. His nickname's Vader, and it's because he's kind of operating on the dark side. This guy does some pretty ballsy stuff that most guys are scared to do because they don't even realize it's possible. His specialty is taking women, whether that means they're married or they have boyfriends. This guy actually specializes in hooking up with married chicks. You can read more about his story below. See, the harsh reality is that many attractive women already have a man in their life. But the fact is, most of these guys are actually placeholders. So if you know the specific ways to get these women who are quote-unquote taken, think about how much that multiplies your options.
Once you click the yellow Get Instant Access button below, you'll be taken instantly to a secure checkout page with the confidence knowing that your info is private and guaranteed secure by a CAFE and VeriSign with 128-bit encryption. And remember, it's risk-free. You can stop at any time. If you're sleeping with too many women and it's starting to be a hassle, you don't have any time for like hobbies and stuff, or you feel like you've achieved all your goals, you're as good as you want to be, you can stop at any time. It's risk-free, and I stand behind everything I do. All right, my reputation is very important to me. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you on the other side, and take care.